That's funny.
All right, come on.
I thought the Tony Tone shit was a good transition to what we was talking about before with the Gillie the Kid.
Hey.
Thought that'd be a good segue.
That is a good segue for that, Rory.
Yeah.
Now, you guys want to hip you to some podcast beef I've been made aware of.
Yeah, I walked in the crib today and Joe and Brandon were sitting there. Thank God Joe was not on his stomach this time.
Yo, I still challenge that from y'all. Like, a guy can lay on his stomach.
Yeah, but he going through
why.
something.
Why he's laying on his stomach. But okay.
And I walked in just to say hello to my friends, and they were like, "There's too much podcast beef. Shut up." And I was privy to this information that Joe's about to tell the podcast.
I am going to share this with you guys.
Spill the tea, Joe.
I already made Rory promise. Now you guys have to promise. I will share this tea with you only if you promise not to personally attack me during the story.
I promise.
Well, it's going to be tough.
Sure.
Pinky swear. All right, bet. Yo, so, and I'm mad that you didn't tell me about this, Mo. I didn't know that they had some smoke over there at Gillie shit.
Oh, with the dude that used to do the show before them?
Look,
that
he
was on the show with them?
say his name. Yeah.
I forgot his name. No disrespect.
Dev.
I forgot his name. Yeah.
Dev is his name. Say his name.
Dev.
That's not in this situation. That's not.
Oh.
That doesn't work in this situation.
All right, fine. Yeah, why you didn't tell me about this little... And I only mention it here because it's important to talk about this shit here. Because what I'm noticing is, and I'll just say this blanket statement, a lot of people are jumping into this podcast game and this podcast world because it's trendy and you see some traction happening, some momentum. It's a developing field and genre. And you're not really treating this like a business. Like, I get the optic of it is to sit around and kick it with your friends. And I use friends loosely because most of these podcasters don't be friends.
No.
They're just selling the illusion of friendship.
Like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like us.
Yeah, but we marry the illusion. Like, I don't talk to y'all during the week. Like, yo, this shit was working so great for us, we deaded the relationship.
Yeah, no, we got rid of the friendship.
Yeah, yeah.
It's better that way.
Yeah,
It's better that way.
Hey, and I really appreciate that you guys can come here and hit the on switch.
Shows a lot about
Oh, yeah, man. We're killing this shit. But so, all right. So, long story, a little less long. Gillie and Wallow hit podcast, $1 million worth of game. They were doing however many episodes they did, and they did this alongside a gentleman named Dev. Dev is not really he's not a part of their core and friendship group, but he did add something to the show. So from what I gather here, they did about 85 episodes for free pro bono with no sponsor, no integrations, nobody backing them, right?
It was Dev's studio. It was his facility, his studio.
Oh, that's a big part. That's a big part to take note in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And this was just on SoundCloud, whatever. They just put it out on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so from what I gather, nobody made any money when nobody was making any money. Then when the Barstool deal came into play, Gillie offered a salary. You will get X amount of dollars for every episode moving forward. And Dev's position was, I've been here from the start. I do not want a salary. I want 15% of everything. So when this Barstool money came, Dev was asking for 15% of this Barstool money. To which Gillie said, man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, no, I'm not giving you that. But I will do the right thing and raise your salary
Now,
to this appropriate number.
You have to specify whose point of view is this right now that you're speaking from?
I'm just pulling what I gathered from both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just what they're beefing over.
You've heard both sides, and that's what you took from it. Okay.
Yeah. Damn, where was I at just now?
15%. I'll give you.
15%.
I'll raise your salary with this.
Gillie
Barstool
said,
money.
"Get the fuck out of here." He felt like he was being overly generous with the offer, which totaled something like $70,000 base or $50,000 base, not including tour.
Yeah.
So Dev was like, okay, well, if you're paying me for this number, then you owe me X amount of dollars for the 89 episodes that we did for free already. To which Gillie said, no, if you don't get the fuck out of here, I'm not doing none of that shit. Dev in his interview that he released was posting receipts of contracts and lawyers going back and forth. And he was highlighting how in the paperwork, he is titled as a producer / editor. So his role on the show is he accused Gillie of downplaying his role on the show. To which Gillie responded with, nigga, you was a nobody before you got on the show. If you so popping, why you can't get nothing else popping? And no, you deaded yourself. I was asking for this amount of hours from you and you get paid more than anything else and you shitted on me. So no, now you can't come back. It's over. And he said that pretty aggressily, and he said that in a real Gillie way, if you know it. The Dev kid seemed to be real respectful. He didn't seem like he really wanted no smoke, but it did sound like he was unclear about the business. So before I ask you gentlemen where y'all fall on this, I just want to take this time to tell all podcasters out there, old, new, old, just have your understanding. I won't call it have your business together. Have your understanding in order.
Have your people understanding in order.
Well, you and your people should.
Before business, you should
Before it gets booming.
I'll put it this way. Starting with that being Dev's studio. Again, I don't know much about this, so if I'm talking on my ass, my apologies to talk about somebody else's business. If it's Dev's studio and we get a bag and I have accumulated some costs in having you guys in my studio for this long, yeah, it would be nice if you gave me a little back pay to cover the expenses that we were all doing pro bono. I don't want to make money off of it. Let's just cover the expenses that we've had for 85 episodes because I've been coming out of pocket while you guys haven't. I could get Dev's beef there. Sure.
I'm not retroactively paying nobody.
Oh, no. I'm not saying there's no paperwork, there's no nothing. That's why I said you need to know people first.
That would be a good gesture.
Yeah, that's what I'm speaking of. Morally, if you were to say, all right, you just got a bag, you got this bag off these 85 episodes and you guys are great at it, but I've been coming out of pocket because I believed in y'all. Sure. Throw me some bread for cost. I'm not looking for a profit. I want to break even off what you guys have done in my studio.
Yeah, but don't come to me today for 90 episodes that we did.
I mean, I'm not Dev, so I don't know exactly what those costs may have been.
I mean, listen, Maul just taught me that it was his studio. I didn't even know.
Well, you didn't mention that earlier.
This was from, I spoke to Wallow, and I believe that's the story he told me, that was Dev's studio. That they were using his studio, I believe. I
want to say, Wallow has not said a word about any of this. There's no rant. There's no footage of him replying to Dev. He's handled this like a gentleman.
No, my point is because you pay for studio time, which if you're a smart studio ends up being profit because you're covering the costs already plus profit when you do your hourly rate for a studio, engineer cost, all that shit. I'm saying, fuck me making a profit. Just let me break even on the expenses that I've had to get us to this 85 because it is a whole team thing there. Of course, Dev would not be in the position.
So you're gonna cut your nose to spite your face, though?
No,
we just got this Barstool deal.
Oh no. I agree there. If I'm Gillie and Wallow, I'll throw just to cover costs. I don't know what the costs were. They could have been nothing. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying if I had a lot of studio costs in my studio, yeah, I might want a little bit of bread.
What if it's cheaper for me to go get a new studio?
Okay.
Yeah, but see, again,
that's just good gesture shit.
It always comes down.
No, it's gesture morally. That's all I'm speaking of. I'm not saying Gillie owe him that.
Yeah, but the good gesture should come from the good gesture giver. Like, if you have to bring it up.
Oh, no, it shouldn't.
Then that nigga probably
but that's why it just always goes back to, if you want to know exactly how much people fuck with you or where your relationship stands, just put money in between y'all. And that'll tell you everything you need to know. Because niggas can say, oh, that's my boy, that's my man.
But they didn't grow up together.
No, I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying.
I don't know if they claim to be besties. He just added to the show.
No.
But that don't mean nothing.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, if you want to know where you stand with people, just put money in.
Well, it do mean something because we can argue about your value to this show. And that's where I get the biggest of their differences coming from.
Well, listen, I'll put it this way, in me defending Dev here.
If Dev did the studio, the timestamp, some editing, and I'm talent on the mic, I would be thinking that my value is pretty high.
I've on a crew friendship or not even friendship, but we're all in this together thing. I've put up bread before, or I put in a lot of expenses into business and we've gotten the bag. I haven't even thought about what happened before that. So no, me personally, no, I'm letting that go. Like if we're in this together and moving forward, fuck all those expenses before. It is what it is at this point. Let's focus on the next episodes and how we're gonna get this money. I think what happened with Dev was he felt he was shorted, and while he was being shorted, he said, all right, well, let me get my money for the other bullshit if we're not in this as partners. We're in this as you're throwing me a fee. That's all. I'm not saying I would move like Dev. I'm not saying I would move like Dev.
That's what I'm interested to hear from you.
No, I'm gonna sit down. If we did this together and we're moving forward together, I'm not gonna think about those old expenses. But I don't know what Dev's situation is. He may need it.
It's hard to say without knowing the full the full details.
And I don't want to make this a personal Dev thing because I don't know Dev at all. But I can see in the situation that someone would go, all right, well, I was coming out my pocket to boost your podcast. Now you're saying it's yours, it's not mine. Yeah, if it's yours, pay for what you just fucking did then. If it ain't mine, if I'm not part of it, pay for the fucking expenses then. If you want to be a boss, act like a boss now. Yeah. Pay for your shit.
It's always tough. It's always tough because at the end of the day, it's like, but the chemistry that they had, that was dope. You know what I mean? So it's like for money or business to
fucking that
get
up
in the way of that and fuck that up.
Over 15% is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's always tough getting into business with people because everybody is down and riding and, you know, when there's no money involved. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a rider. But then once the money come into play, it's, you know, everybody start thinking with a CEO mind.
You don't think it's the opposite of that sometimes? You don't think it's when there's no money involved?
It can be, but I'm just saying.
Now when it's money, it's like, oh, everybody.
I'm just saying when you. No, it definitely happens that way too. But what I'm saying is, if the person was there riding when there wasn't no money, you know what I'm saying? Because you can look around and know who's around you when there wasn't no money. You know the faces, you know the niggas that's down with you. But now when the money comes and shit gets different, that's the unfortunate part because it's like, bro, we've been broke together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like now that some money's in play, it's like that shouldn't change anything. Like we know how we get down when there's no money involved between us. You know what I'm saying? Like we still boys, we still had the same fun. We still do shit like, so now that the money's involved and people want to start talking like, you know, they this fucking CEO of General Motors, it's like, you don't even know who this person is anymore. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just have a conversation. Yo, this is what I feel like I should get paid. And if not, okay, then let's try to get somewhere to where it makes sense for both of us. Like, but don't just say, you know, oh, fuck you, get out of here, we don't need you. It's like, damn,
that was important. That was real important. That was important part. What you just said, Maul. It's unfortunate that they weren't able to negotiate through what some of the differences were.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the fucked up part in business is like, you know, you get to a point where it's like people just be like, oh well, fuck him or fuck her. And it's like, but damn, like we came all this way together, we built something dope. We, you know what I'm saying, we got it to a level to where we can probably take care of ourselves and, you know, have a better living.
I'm a rewind back to a conversation we was having a long time ago that I don't even remember, where we briefly brought up, it might have been the Mace conversation, where we played the flip side of that, saying that, hey, on the flip side, there's some artists that as soon as the money come, now we want to keep it all.
Yeah.
Like now we don't want to cut corners. Without exposing too much of our personal business, I can feel Gillie on that part. When our deal came and the commissions had to go, it was a lot of money. My first thought was, how do we change that? How do we keep this? Yeah. But that's kind of grimy. But I think that everybody kind of has that thought. Now, what do you do following that thought?
To that point, and this doesn't have to do with us or with Gillie. That defines leadership, because when you treat people as your partner that you build something with, their attitude is much different. They're not going to care about certain expenses about shit because we're in this together. We win together, we lose together. That's the point of partners. When I'm now an employee or just a contractor where I get a fee, now I'm going to behave like a contractor where pennies matter to me, and how things and expenses are moved within my salary and how it affects me. I'm going to make an uproar out of shit. If I'm a partner in something, Nah, it's cool. Everything here affects us.
You know why that's not fair?
Like if you fuck something up, it fucks me up. If I fuck something up, it fucks you up. So we all move as a unit. When you do the I'm now the leader God thing, and again, this has nothing to do with us or Gillie.
Gillie did do the I'm the leader God.
I didn't see any of it, so I'm not going to speak on it because I didn't see it. But
I love Gillie. Shout out to Gillie.
But it changes the mentality of the people around you because now, all right, if you want to treat me that way, all right, fine, we'll go to the Gillie thing.
Well, you can change
if you want to treat it that way. If you want to treat it that way, then yeah, it's time for you to act like the boss you're pretending or are, and pay up on them fucking expenses, bro. We're not partners anymore. I came in on a 15%. Let me be your partner. I wouldn't give a fuck about those expenses. Now I care about them because now I'm just some fucking contractor to you. So yeah, pay up, be the boss, pay the invoice.
The only thing I don't like about what Rory is saying, and I do believe that that's true in podcast world, is that I don't feel like that's the case when people get up and go to work. Like we get up and we go to work. No, we're not talented at work, but we're contracted. We're at work. And because it's work, we don't be pressing them like we should about shit because we just at work.
Contractors and employees are a bit different.
Tell me more.
They're not exactly the same. If I'm a hired contractor, the inner workings, and even to an employee to some certain degree, the inner workings of how you move expenses around is not my business. If you're an employee. Yeah, it's not my business. I'm an employee. You pay me a salary. Whatever we make as a company, I make the same. I make $75,000 a year. It's never going to change unless I get a raise, a promotion, or work off commission.
And that's not the same as a contractor?
To some degree, because you're hiring me for a specific service. I don't get benefits from your company. I don't. Yeah. It's a bit different. Yeah. I have more of a loyalty to how you run your business as an employee than I do a contractor. You're hiring me for a specific service, and in, let's say, Dev's shit here, if I'm a contractor, you used my place. You hired me as a contractor to use my studio. I gave you a service. Pay for the fucking service. He went in there saying, I want a percentage. Make me a partner to some degree, whatever you define a partner. Mm-hmm. Make me a partner. I'm not going to give a fuck about the expense because we're all in this together. I don't care. I'm bringing this as a partner. This is a resource I have. It's a studio. I'm not going to charge you for expenses. That's part of, we're partners. But now I'm a contractor. Fuck yeah. You hired me for a service. Pay your fucking expenses, boss.
He said no.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And sometimes, saying that no will fuck the pack up though.
Well, that's the thing.
You're trying to cut corners and you trying not to, you don't want to pay this to keep this chemistry and keep this energy, which the people have come to love.
Not many people care about fucking the pack up more. Like,
well, you should, because fucking the pack up now, you fucked your money up. And that's the part niggas don't want to talk about.
Because niggas,
you can try to take out and do this and do all this moving around, and then when you start to see that after this, it ain't no more deals coming, ain't no more.
Nah,
dog, niggas ain't you. But you remix the pack too much.
That depends on how you value the pack, right? Because back to the Barstool call me daddy shit. I mean, if I take my brain out of it, if I'm call me daddy host, co-host, maybe I wait the 6 months and bring up all my grievances at the time of renegotiation, because they were close to the end. 2021, their contract was up. We in 2020. We damn near out of this shit. I might have.
It's 2021.
I might have kept it pushing in that instance, but they took a stand, right? And now it's Barstool's job to come up with that show. Yes, the pack is fucked up because those were the girls that they were the pack. But Barstool owns it, so they don't have a choice but to remix the pack or let the brand die, right? Same with Gillie. Homeboy leaves. Yeah, the pack ain't the same, but maybe Gillie knows that as he's trying to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so, but at the same time, is it worth it?
No, it's not. Remixing the pack don't usually be worth it. It's a headache.
It's a headache. It's never the same.
And it's not in good business to have to rebrand every year.
It's not.
It's just not.
That says something about,
especially when you're dealing with someone that's not only an on-air personality but also deals with the technical side and also is facilitating the podcast.
Right. It's just not. That's
a lot of
what I'm
shit
saying.
to gamble with.
Listen, me and Rory had a lot of conversations and a lot of sleepless nights when Marissa parted ways.
It wasn't a fun month.
No, not at all. Because it's like it's a lot that goes into coming up with that type of shit.
Yeah.
And you want to be responsible with putting someone on your platform. Which reminds me, Marissa's the only person that got fired from me twice.
When was the first time?
It's my assistant.
Oh, I didn't know she was your assistant.
Yeah, she fell in love. It was fine. All right, that's it. That's all I got. I just bring it up because there are a lot of people starting podcasts.
Well, where did this end between their
Gillie and them have somebody else.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
Oh shit, okay.
He's gone. He's pursuing his other passions.
And shout outs to Dev. You know, we don't want to paint him in
never that because he handled
light.
He handled it so graciously and so professionally.
Shouts to Wallow, shouts to Gillie.
Shout out to that.
Shout out to all of them.
Shout out to that whole camp. And I just hope everything's all right. Yeah, they replaced Dev. I can't say
with another
if it was
on-air personality.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to their podcast probably within a month. I gotta catch up.
I can't say if it's for better or for worse, but they have a new pack. Mm-hmm. If I'm Dev, I'm not necessarily leaving that pack like that.
Well, that'd be the unfortunate shit.
It's tricky.
Because sometimes it don't even fall into the money. It falls into your morals and ego.
Well, that's
like that's where it hurts the most. Like, fuck the bread. Like, I don't know what they're making, nor do I care. That's their pockets. But you were saying the 70,000 base salary. Great. That's a lot of money to make.
I feel like some
your
of us
ego and your moral
podcasters
sit there like, nah, that doesn't settle right with me. I mean, can't be
it also
there.
doesn't seem like 15% doesn't seem. It's only 3 of them, right? 15% doesn't sound
On air.
egregious to me.
It's only 3 of them on air.
Right.
I don't know who's getting part of what.
I don't know what he has offered that podcast, so I can't speak to that.
Will people miss him?
Well, I know I don't mean just personality.
No, they do.
I mean how it functions.
I think so. Because people fell in love with that. People grew to love and support that. So naturally, people will miss that. They miss that element of it.
I want to encourage all podcasters out there to have a clear and concise understanding with the people that you do the podcast with.
Which is a very tough ask.
That's
yeah,
it.
it's difficult.
It's a really tough ask.
Is it?
Same thing happens in music.
Explain it to me.
To understand
in music, I can see how that happens. Because in music, business conversations happen very casually, especially when you don't know that it's a business conversation happening. With podcasting, though, is that really like that?
No, you're asking.
Anytime money is involved, it's like that.
You're asking
I don't care what you're doing.
one of the
Anytime money is in play, it happens. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're asking one of the most difficult questions ever to deal with people, and then to deal with people within your own money and business.
And deal with egos.
That's life shit. That's not podcast shit. Go ahead.
But that's why it's so important to praise people that are very successful and their business is intact, because it's not easy. It's not easy to be successful and for your business to be intact. And when you see people moving with their camp and everyone is on the same accord, like, you have to salute that, because the moment money comes into play, the chemistry of everything changes.
I think before
it does.
I think before money came with us, I think I might have said to y'all, "Hey, when we get some money, I want more than y'all."
He probably did.
Oh, he probably definitely said that.
That might have been the
absolutely.
That might have been that total argument that y'all keep saying was about title that I know is not about title.
Total argument.
The blow up one. We didn't have an episode. It was like the first time we ever missed an episode in like 3 years.
That happened.
Yeah, it was a fight.
We missed the episode.
We did. You drove. You sped off in your car.
Shut the fuck up.
It was about
money. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
100%.
Shut the fuck up.
It was about money. It wasn't title. I don't know why you kept saying it was about title. It was about money. It was about money. That's why. No,
how did we explain that to the fans?
I empathize with Gillie and all of them. I know how this goes. It's not easy.
We didn't explain it as that. We just took a week off. We just took an episode off.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It wasn't much to explain.
And I sped off. Oh man.
And we was only doing one episode a week then, so it wasn't,
And you sped off like
aggressively.
I visualized like a chick pulling off in like a VW bug. Like that's how I visualized it.
Above.
I always make it a point to speed off fast from you guys whenever we're having a tiff because you guys are going to gang up on me. So I have to pull off fast.
Nah, it's not a gang.
not-
up.
never
It's just
been-
that,
No. If we're all this is what I mean. If we're all supposed to part ways now, and y'all stand there for 20 more minutes, I can assume that I'm being
Would you
jumped.
circle around the block? How would you know?
Nah, you can tell when niggas about to get out of here or when niggas is sitting around chilling for a minute. Fuck out of here. I don't remember that total of shit at all. Not one part of it. I must have been really wrong.
From what I remember, you were, but you typically
The
are.
fuck
so
up,
it's cool.
Mo. Y'all
No, you were though. I'm just
I don't
being
remember what it
honest, you
was. Is there a way to tell me without telling the fans?
Actually, no. I think it was Highline money.
Damn, that's
No,
a
it
petty
was-
argument.
It was
it was money.
it was petty for sure.
Wow.
But it was a
Look at us. Look at us.
this is part of this conversation, which we don't have to make it just about us. But having those early arguments, even when it's about busting down 10 grand,
You're gonna have
like
arguments.
you have to set
In
a
the business,
precedent
you're gonna have
early
arguments.
on where I am and how much I make off this 10 grand.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we don't fight over Highline ballroom money anymore.
Nah, that's how you got to start though.
That's nasty.
That's part of the process. No,
No, you're right. Yeah, listen, fight with your podcast friends,
no,
man.
I'm not saying fight, but you should set a precedent on what expectations are over $1,500. I know it's going to look and sound petty, but it's not. Because then once you get the real bag,
It'll be important later.
it'll be way worse. And now someone's not on the show anymore.
Yeah, like, go ahead, Maul still ain't get paid from our first show. He don't care.
No,
Look.
he might care.
All right.